The movie begins just after Thanksgiving. Ray is driving home with his wife Joanne and their young daughter Perry, but the journey is far from peaceful. Ray and Joanne have been struggling with their marriage, and another argument begins. Joanne's parents have never accepted Ray, and despite knowing about his past drinking problem, they offered him alcohol during dinner. Ray believes they were testing him, while Joanne feels he is blaming everyone except himself. She criticizes him for driving too slowly, but Ray explains that he has been extra careful since the road accident that killed his first wife, Abby. Although he wants to repair their relationship, Joanne wonders whether their marriage can still be saved. As the argument grows heated, they nearly collide with another vehicle, but Ray regains control. Meanwhile, Perry's music player batteries run out. Ray had forgotten replacements, so he cheers her up by singing a rainbow song, briefly easing the tension. For a brief moment, Perry happily joins him, and the tension inside the car fades. Perry soon needs the restroom, so they stop at a gas station beside an unfinished construction area. While Joanne takes her inside, Ray buys coffee, a soft drink, batteries, and secretly adds 2 small liquor bottles. The store does not accept cards, and he lacks enough cash. Instead of giving up the alcohol, he puts back Perry's batteries, then lies that the store had none. When he returns to the car, Perry is disappointed, but she believes him. As they prepare to leave, Perry realizes her compact mirror is missing. Joanne returns to search the restroom, while Ray checks the back seat and spills his coffee. Neither notices Perry leaving the car. Outside, Perry sees a balloon near the construction site. A stray dog approaches, forcing her backward toward a deep pit. Behind Perry, the exposed pit is deep enough to make any wrong step potentially fatal. Hearing her call, Ray rushes over and throws a rock toward the dog. The animal runs, but Perry loses her balance and falls into the pit. Ray dives after her, but fails to catch her, crashing below and striking his head. Everything becomes dark. When Ray opens his eyes, his vision is blurred, and a strange voice seems to say, "They are both gone." Perry lies completely still. Joanne climbs down, cries out, and tries to bring Ray back to his senses. Confused, he pushes her away and stares helplessly at Perry. Then he closes his eyes. When he looks again, Perry is alive, crying with a badly injured arm. Ray lifts her. Joanne wants an ambulance, but Ray remembers a hospital nearby and believes he can reach it faster. Although he has feared driving quickly since Abby's death, Ray speeds down the highway, overtaking vehicles and taking risks. Joanne sees the determination she earlier accused him of lacking. At the hospital, Ray demands immediate help, but the receptionist tells them to wait. After Joanne urges him to act, he returns and demands an examination. The receptionist makes him sign an admission sheet, asks Perry's age and blood type, then quietly calls Dr. Bertram, saying another patient has arrived. While waiting, Joanne removes Perry's scarf, apologizes for the argument, and thanks Ray for getting them there quickly. They share a small joke, giving Ray hope for their marriage. When Joanne complains of neck pain, Ray goes to buy her a cold soda. He notices an ambulance unloading covered bodies, then leaving with a medical container, but tries not to think about it. During registration, the admissions worker asks personal questions about Ray's drinking, work, marriage, and Abby, whose name remains on his insurance. She repeatedly asks whether they will register Perry as an organ donor. Both refuse. The hospital does not accept Ray's insurance. He offers cash, but even that requires approval. After speaking privately with an administrator, the worker agrees to admit Perry. Nurse Anne leads them inside, while Ray hears another private call to Dr. Bertram, sharing Perry's information. Dr. Bertram gently examines Perry's arm and eyes. Ray explains the accident and mentions the dog, surprising Joanne because he never told her. Ray says everything happened too quickly. The doctor confirms a fractured arm, but worries about a head injury and recommends a CAT scan. He warns it will be expensive, but Ray says he will pay anything. Bertram notices Ray's forehead injury and offers to examine him, but Ray insists Perry is all that matters. A worker gives Perry a stuffed toy and says Dr. Bertram rarely smiles, suggesting she must be special. Only one parent may accompany her to the lower scanning level, so Joanne goes while Ray remains upstairs. He watches them enter the elevator, Perry looking back with her toy, then falls asleep in the waiting room. Hours later, another patient wakes Ray and says he was talking in his sleep. Joanne and Perry have not returned. In the restroom, Ray sees his head wound has been cleaned and bandaged, though he barely remembers treatment. At reception, the shift has changed and Dr. Bertram has gone home. The new receptionist cannot find Perry in the system and becomes confused when Ray says he was allowed to pay cash, because the hospital normally does not accept it. Panicking, Ray demands she call the lower level. While she does, he sees workers carrying sealed medical waste bags with dark stains. She finally says the scanning department received no child during the entire shift. Ray refuses to believe her. He rushes to Perry's examination room, but finds another family there. His shouting attracts security guard Jeff and Dr. Lucado. Lucado listens as Ray describes Joanne, Perry, the accident, and the CAT scan, but finds no record they were admitted. Ray then sees Nurse Anne and asks her to confirm everything. Anne remembers Ray arriving, but insists he came alone. She says she only treated his head wound and saw no wife, daughter, or broken arm. Ray accuses her of lying and becomes aggressive. Jeff and the staff restrain him, use pepper spray, give him a sedative, and lock him in a private room. Ray later pretends to calm down and apologizes. Once Jeff and the nurse leave, he searches the cabinets, finds adrenaline injectors, and uses them to fight the sedative. He smashes the door glass and escapes. Ray searches room after room for Joanne and Perry. He briefly sees the worker who escorted them, now dressed differently, making him question his memory before he can confront him. Jeff gives chase. Ray hides inside a vehicle in the parking area until Jeff assumes he escaped. Returning to his car, Ray finds Perry's belongings and holds them close, convincing himself he imagined nothing. He then notices a police car and begs Officers Griggs and Childs for help. Ray explains the construction site accident, Perry's injury, their hospital arrival, and his family's disappearance, insisting the hospital is hiding something. The story sounds unbelievable, but Ray shows identification and a photograph of Joanne and Perry. Seeing his desperation and the seriousness of the accusation, the officers agree to return and investigate. For the first time since his family vanished, Ray feels someone may uncover the truth. The officers return to the hospital with Ray, determined to discover whether Joanne and Perry were truly admitted. Security guard Jeff approaches them and defends the staff's earlier treatment of Ray, claiming they were protecting the hospital. However, the officers want to check the facts themselves. Ray leads them to the treatment area where he last saw Perry and insists she was examined there before a CAT scan. Dr. Lucado repeats that Ray arrived alone and that no record exists of Joanne or Perry entering the building. Ray demands they call Dr. Bertram. While the officers inspect the scanning department, the staff takes them to the third floor, confusing Ray because he remembers Joanne and Perry's elevator going downward. Employees insist the scanner is upstairs. The machine logs show no scan around the time Ray claims, and the scanner had not been used since morning. Staff then recover a discarded admission form bearing Ray's name, but Perry's is missing. To the police, this suggests Ray came alone. To Ray, it proves the hospital erased every trace of his family. Dr. Bertram arrives but gives a different story. He says Ray entered alone with a head injury, claimed he had been in a car accident, appeared confused, and refused a recommended head scan. Bertram also remembers Ray saying his wife was outside, but the name he used was Abby. The name of his dead first wife shakes Ray. He accuses Bertram of learning it from the questionnaire, but the officers begin doubting him. Jeff suggests checking security footage. The recording shows Ray entering alone. Ray insists Joanne sat beneath a camera, yet nobody appears there. He notices skips and believes the footage was edited, while Jeff blames the hospital's old system. With no cameras in examination rooms and no warrant, the police cannot search every restricted area. Desperate, Ray remembers the gas station cashier saw the whole family before the accident. The officers try contacting him, but the station is closed. Staff then find Perry's yellow scarf with blood on it. Ray sees proof, but they explain the blood could be from his forehead and that he may have brought the scarf himself. Ray breaks down, swearing he held Perry, spoke with Joanne, and watched them enter the elevator. Bertram explains that head injuries can create memories that feel real. Dr. Lucado returns with psychiatrist Dr. Jacobs. Unlike the others, she calmly says she wants to uncover what happened. In private, she reveals the hospital found a patient file, but it belongs to Ray. Jacobs questions him about Joanne, Perry, the construction site, Abby, and the accident that killed her. Ray insists he has avoided alcohol since Abby's death, but Jacobs senses his memories are incomplete and that his mind may be hiding something traumatic. She suggests returning to the gas station. If Joanne and Perry never entered the hospital, they may still be near the pit. The officers request a canine unit. At the deserted station, Ray explains that Perry approached the edge. A stray dog appeared, he threw a rock, and she fell. Inside the pit, searchers find Perry's compact mirror, proving she was there. Then they discover a large bloodstain. Ray says it came from his head, but the officers think there is too much blood and treat the area as a possible crime scene. Jacobs asks what truly happened after Perry fell. She suggests there may have been no dog, and that Ray, angry after arguing with Joanne, threw the rock toward Perry and caused her fall. When Joanne confronted him, he may have harmed her too. She explains that the mind can create an alternate reality when truth becomes unbearable. In that reality, Ray is not responsible for losing his family, but becomes the father trying to save them. Ray briefly appears to believe her. Broken images flash through his mind, Perry motionless and Joanne screaming. As officers prepare to arrest him, barking echoes nearby. Ray sees the same stray dog in the distance. Convinced this proves his memory and that Jacobs is manipulating him, he attacks Officer Childs, takes her gun, forces everyone into the restroom, steals Jacobs' access card, locks them inside, and races back to the hospital. Using the card, Ray enters a restricted doorway and hides his face behind flowers. Passing the maternity ward, newborn babies trigger another memory. Abby was pregnant when she died, meaning Ray lost both his first wife and unborn child. This explains the words he heard after falling into the pit. They're both gone. Ray pushes the memory aside, steals a doctor's coat, and searches for the lower level, which requires a special key. Jeff enters the elevator carrying access keys. Ray points the gun at him, but Jeff attacks. They struggle inside the elevator. Jeff nearly overpowers Ray, but Ray kills him, takes the keys, and descends. The lower hallways are dark and isolated. Ray finds Perry's stuffed toy in a trash bin, convincing him he found where the hospital took her. Deeper inside, he sees sealed medical containers and bodies that appear emptied of organs. Every suspicious detail connects. The blood type questions, organ donation form, ambulance container, and medical bags. Ray becomes certain the hospital harvests organs, and Perry is next. He enters an operating area and sees what he believes is Perry unconscious on a table, with doctors preparing surgery and Joanne heavily sedated nearby. Ray raises the gun and orders everyone away. Although he is surrounded by doctors and equipment, Ray sees the room through his delusion. To him, the patient on the table has Perry's face, while another unconscious figure appears to be Joanne. This distorted vision allows him to continue believing that every violent action he takes is necessary to rescue them. When staff try restraining him, a violent struggle begins. A nurse attempts to sedate him, but he fights back. A gunshot damages equipment and releases gas. Another triggers an explosion, starting a fire. Ray recovers and shoots a doctor in the leg. He places Joanne and Perry on a wheelchair, threatens anyone approaching, escapes through the hospital, and gets them into his car before police return. Driving away, Ray feels relief, believing he defeated the hospital and rescued his family. Perry sits behind him with Joanne beside her as Ray sings the rainbow song again. For a moment, it appears he was right. Then the truth is revealed. There was no organ harvesting operation. The lower level was a normal surgical area, and the bodies and containers existed only in Ray's damaged mind. The person he removed was not Perry, but an unconscious male patient undergoing a real procedure. Ray's memories returned to the construction site. The dog was real, and Ray threw a rock to scare it, but Perry still fell into the pit and died from the impact. When Ray regained consciousness, Joanne cried beside their daughter, blamed him, and demanded he face the truth. Still dazed, Ray pushed her away. She fell backward, struck exposed metal, and died too. Already carrying guilt over Abby and their unborn child, Ray could not accept losing another wife and child. His mind rejected reality. He placed Joanne and Perry's bodies in the trunk and drove to the hospital alone. His delusion began in the pit. By the time he reached the hospital, his mind had convinced him they were alive. After he woke in the waiting room, it created a new story in which the hospital secretly took them. The cold staff, missing records, medical containers, and imagined organ operation were all pieces of one powerful delusion. In reality, Ray is driving away with a seriously ill stranger, unconscious in the back seat. Joanne and Perry remain in the trunk. Yet, in the mirror, Ray sees his family smiling. He believes he protected them and proved he could be a good husband and father. But the family he thinks he saved is already gone. The movie's deeper meaning is about guilt, denial, and the frightening power of the mind. Unable to accept another unbearable loss, Ray replaces reality with a story where he is the hero. By refusing the truth, he saves nobody and becomes a danger to everyone around him.